Hello, everyone. Welcome to IndieX, and I'm Patricia, and I'm ready to play our next game in line. Time on Frog Island. Let's welcome Max from Half Past Yellow, the team that has created this lovely, lovely game. Hello, Max. How are you today?
Hi, Patricia. I'm good. Yeah, I'm really excited to get into the game. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm really excited to show everyone how cute this game is as well. So, what can you tell us about your team, Half Past Yellow?
Yeah, so we're a small team of actually now 10. We were 8 when we were making the game. And we're a small studio based in Copenhagen, Denmark.
Oh,
Uh, yeah,
and you've actually grown after this game.
yeah, a little bit. We received some investment funding, and also the game has sold well above our expectations, which is nice. So yeah, we've hired a couple of new people, and we're excited to move on to the next thing.
So, the game, Time on Frog Island, has released already this
Uh,
year in July.
yes. Oh,
On where can we find this game? On what consoles besides
yeah,
computer?
yeah. It's on PC, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox, both the series and the one, and it's also on Nintendo Switch.
Oh, that's really cool because this game seems like a lot of fun for everyone to enjoy. Well, everywhere. I think everyone will really enjoy this game. So let's start playing it because we have a lot to do and little time to do it. So this is Time on Frog Island. We can play with our keyboard and mouse, but also with a game controller, which you actually encourage people to do, right?
Yeah, yeah. We think it's a little bit better with the game controller than just straight keyboard because it limits you to just the 8 directions of movement.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's still like it's not a hardcore platformer type of game, but it definitely feels nice to move with some more freedom.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh
We can
no.
start a new adventure. It's okay. So, what can you tell us about our main character?
Yeah, so our main character is the sailor. Actually, because one of the unique parts we feel about the game is the lack of dialogue and the fact that it's all with pictograms and things like this. So none of our characters sort of have names. The sailor is the sailor. The
The
frogs are the
sailor.
artist, the chef, uh, the guard, and so on. So also in our documentation, they don't have names. So yeah, this
Oh.
is our little sailor character. Coming from possibly an island of humans or other types of non-frog creatures, and they're an adventurous character who kind of wants to go out and seek new ways to play or do interesting things to do. So they set out with their boat and they get caught up in a storm. And then they shipwreck here on an island of not human people, frog people.
Yeah.
And their main goal is to fix their boat and be able to leave. But first things first, they have
Yeah.
to get their precious precious pet plant.
Yeah, that's the thing. We have just shipwrecked. Everything is a mess, but where's the shrub?
Yes.
First
Yeah.
things first.
So
So,
that is one of the things that we sort of liked about the character is maybe lonely is not how I would describe them, but they're out on these adventures on their own, and they've sort of gravitated towards this nice pet plant they took with them from their home.
and this is how dialogue goes, which is pretty cute and easy to understand for everyone. There's no language barrier here. I mean, where's my plant? Oh, hello. The plant? Oh, I want a bottle. This
Yeah,
is
that was
amazing.
that was one of the things that we liked about the sort of premise was we wanted to sort of, I guess, have some level of maybe miscommunication, like maybe as the player sort of learns and interacts with the frogs. And the main thing is because they don't speak the language of the frogs. So as soon as you arrive on the island, it doesn't necessarily make sense that you'd be going into full dialogue and all these types of things. So we had like a little bit of a thematic reason for this. But the bonus was also not having to pay as much for localization.
Oh, good. But, well, they seem to get along pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the frogs are different and have a different personality and maybe a job.
Yeah. So there's, I think, 12 or 13 frogs on the island, and yeah, they all have this
Oh,
sort of like light personification. The one you were just speaking to is the artist, the painter, this type of character. But you'll meet a few others as you go around on your adventures.
yeah, and they all look pretty cool. So we just got our little shrub back, and now we can see what we need to do on our boat to be able to leave this island, because we will need to fix the boat, right? And for that, we will have to do what?
Yeah, for that we'll have to meet with locals, trade with them, and sort of solve a few puzzles along the way as you figure out the different pieces that you sort of unlock. So right now the artist is fairly content, but maybe that'll change
Is
as the game progresses.
Yeah, because this game has a day and night cycle, and we can see that the sun is already setting. So maybe we will. Oh, I missed the jump again. Maybe we will need to go to sleep soon or something.
Yeah. There's a sort of simple, well, uh, there's a day and night cycle,
Yeah,
but we kind of wanted the player to have a little bit of agency over how time advances. So uh,
yeah.
the days turn to night, but actually the nights are infinitely long. So you
Oh,
have to rest and sleep at your campfire in order to change towards the next day. There isn't like a traditional day and night cycle. The reason we wanted to do this was actually uh, to have an anchor point for us to change things in the background of
yeah.
the player, and also to sort of like tell a little bit of a backstory behind the sailor through these. Well, you'll see them, these light sort of like dream esque uh,
Yeah, you will see
images.
small glimpses of what was before.
Hmm. Because a lot of players, while we were testing, they were always very interested in the sailor. Who are they, and where did they come from? So we thought we would inject some of that with these dreams.
Oh, because, oh, there's the little guy with glasses. First time I'm seeing him. If we start going around the island, we will get to meet several of these toads going around. Everyone has their occupations, and oh, there's the lady. Oh, and she's in love. And I don't know, we can kind of guess what they are thinking, and we can like, interact with lots of things. I can, well, bring this bench right to my camp,
Hmm.
and at some point in the game, our sailor will tell us that he's tired and that he will want to rest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The first day is a little bit faster than all the other days because we felt the player would kind of maybe do some exploring, but not go too far away from the camp. But the world itself is quite. Uh, I mean, it's fairly big. It takes a little bit of time to go from one place to the other.
Oh,
Um, oh,
um, someone is saying on the chat. I don't know if it's just me, but from the way the camera moves, it may cause a bit of nausea. Um, Actually, I can answer to that because I'm someone that when I play video games, I'm very sensible to that. I suffer a lot from motion sickness, and this game doesn't really invoke that in me. It's a very streamlined and easy to play game, and there's nothing major, at least at this point, that made me trigger that. So it has been really, really comfortable to play, and I can easily say that and safely say that. Thank you so much
Yeah, actually,
for that.
funnily enough, our composer, Nino, he has some problems with motion sickness with games, and he also doesn't get bad motion sickness playing Time on Frog Island, which is nice. Um,
Yeah.
uh, I
Thank
think
you
it's
for
to do with
thinking
the
about
fact
us.
I think it's to do with the fact that the camera is very like static in terms of its framing. So yeah, there is a little bit of movement as it tracks the player, but you don't rotate around the player and you don't do these types of things. And I think
Yeah.
that is quite uh, helpful for that.
Yeah, the camera is always locked. And fun fact, we need our pet shrubbery to sleep with us, to sleep well. This game is full of cute details. It's a very cozy game. And now we meet, I don't know, a friend, a family member, a lover, someone. We don't know. I haven't got to that part yet.
Yeah, there's a few different of these like almost like comic book panels that line up as dreams. And yeah, this was our little way to inject some backstory into the player, into the sailor specifically for the player.
So it's a new day, and now it's time to start repairing our boat. And to do that, we will have to do a lot of trading with and meet a lot of frogs on this island. I haven't quite understood what the first image is, but I think that's part of the mystic and the charm of the game because everyone will understand something different, I guess. So this is what we need to do to fix the boat.
Yeah, this was like a little mini checklist we made for the player to sort of like push them in some directions.
And this is so fun because what a scandal! He's using our sail to paint. He asked for a bottle to paint on this one, but he doesn't want it anymore. He's using our sail. So we need
Yeah,
to talk with him. And where's my sail? I want my sail back. Hmm. I was quite lost on this one. It seems like a worm with a blanket. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get you a worm with a blanket.
yeah. I think one of the things that we really liked about just how the game sort of fits together is uh, it is very much about exploration. And if you don't understand something that a frog says, or don't understand being that, oh, I haven't seen that yet, or I don't know what that is it a crystal, or is it a mushroom, or is it this? Then just by exploring the world, you might come across that exact object and be, wait a minute, that's what the artist was
Yeah,
asking for, and it's
I saw
almost
this
like a little
before.
bit of a memory game. Yeah, so there's like a memory game of tracking what frogs want and where things are and so on.
Oh, he doesn't like the crows. And where are the scarecrow's heads? Well, now we know what this little fellow wants. And he's rude.
Yeah, no, the farmer is a little bit uptight when all their crops are getting eaten.
So this is a task we will have to undergo later on.
Yeah, and it just leads back to, as I said, about the memory game is the first time you spot maybe one of these scarecrow heads, or maybe something that fits on a scarecrow's body that might look like a head, then you can be like, oh, wait a minute, I might be able to use this uh, for the farmer.
So it seems there's a question on the chat. It's such a cute little game. I really enjoyed playing it. Are there any plans for a sequel or perhaps some DLC? I feel like you have a great little universe here, and it's one I'd want to spend more time in. This is from Midgard. Midgard.
Yeah, no. So currently we don't have plans for a sequel or DLC, but we do really love the world. Um, I think the interesting thing that we set out to do with the game, we've
There
definitely
they
like
are.
succeeded in making something kind of fun, and we really love the world as well. Um, but we also weren't sure how the sales and all these types of things were going to go.
No.
So we initially started like work and idealizing like new things to start on right afterwards. So a sequel won't be in the cards for our next game at least, but you know we'll never say never. It's definitely uh, a possibility.
It's an open
We do love the
possibility.
character, yeah. But one of the things that we at least like the idea of is, and it's the reason we kind of made the game the way we did, was that we see the sailor visiting different islands. So you know we wouldn't make DLC for Frog Island. It would be a new
Mm.
island to explore with new characters. The prologue, which unfortunately is only available for PC, it wasn't something we took for. Um,
Yeah,
we took forward for consoles and stuff. But the prologue is set on an island. There's only one character, but it's like an island of axolotls. Um, and theoretically, if the sailor went forward to a new game, it would
doesn't
be.
like me.
Oh, I think it's already full, but maybe in a few
Oh, that's why it
seconds.
changed color. Okay.
um, but yeah, like in the future, possibly. Possibly we can return to not Frog Island, but Bird Island or Mole Island or something.
That would be actually pretty cool. But Midgard, if you want to play a little bit more, you can already enjoy the prologue, like Max said, because it's a tiny bit different story, and
Yeah,
we
if you haven't
can.
played that, yeah, that's a it's a very fun one. Like it was actually maybe slightly different. It is a demo because it's free, but yeah, we just kind of thought the demo part wasn't
No.
it didn't quite make sense for the game because the game is so open and it's about going in so many places, and it wouldn't have really made sense to release an island that didn't feel as packed, like with less frogs or this type of thing. So
Yeah.
we actually decided to over the course of 6 weeks, we sort of like used the systems we already had in place and just sort of fired out a very small scale version of the game, which is why there's only one character and these types of things. But
Only
it
six
taught us a
weeks.
lot about what was fun about the game and what players would respond to. So it did also impact the the game as a whole. Oh,
What is
oh,
it?
that's a that's a bug. Yeah,
Oh.
the little paint jar should fill up with paint when the artist sort of squeezes the bug. So like
Oh.
the idea is that those bugs were like they make paint out of berries.
Oh, okay. Well, instead, it's the best of both worlds. I get to
Yeah.
sail, and the bug is still alive and kicking.
Oh yeah, of course. No, the bug is always the no. The bugs like it. I think. I mean, we created the world, so we know we know what the bugs like.
Okay, let's try to
Oh,
fix our boat a little bit. Nope.
oh.
No. How can I fix the sail? Because a little bit of the game, it's also finding out how to work on some. Ah, now we have it. A new achievement.
No, maybe that collider should be a little bit bigger for the for the sail connection.
And what a lovely detail. This the sail now has a painting of us shipwrecked on this
Yeah.
island. Oh, and he's coming to appreciate his work. Thank you, mister. Okay, so there's someone on the chat. Shiryu from Nintendo Life. Are there plans to add some sort of in game map? Because this game does not have a map. That's true.
Yes, this game doesn't have a map. Our 2D artist is actually very upset about that. They like maps and they like
Oh,
cartography and stuff. But no, it was actually very much a design decision to not have a quest log, not have a map, these types of things. Um, Originally, the whole kind of ethos and core of the game was maybe more in line with some of these old PlayStation 1 games and stuff,
yeah,
where you are very much kind of like set out on your own. And at least to me, the thing that I find interesting about a lot of games is to like learn the lay of the land as I play it, and as you're sort of like. As you get better at learning, like,
yeah,
oh yeah, the fisherman's hut is to the left of the farmer's hut, and all
yeah.
these types of things. I think that at least is a very it's a very powerful thing for me to like learn this about games, and of course it's not for everyone. I think one of the things we realized about the game as we were making it is that it's a bit more niche than we initially sort of like thought it was going to be when we were setting out. But that's also meant that the players that seem to like gravitate towards it and the players that like
Yeah.
sort of latch onto it, they really really love it, and that's amazing because I love it for all the same reasons.
There's a huge percentage of players that actually like little cozy games full of exploration on your own
Yeah,
pacing, because sometimes I can play like 3 hours, an entire afternoon. Sometimes I can only play a bit, and you can
yeah.
just get to know everything. Because when I started playing this, I was like, oh my god, there's no map. I'm so lost. But then you start going to places and seeing tools spread around, and you're like, maybe I'm going to use this later on, and then I would pick them up, drop it somewhere else in the map, and then I was going to be I was like, yeah, I don't know where they are anymore. But in a little bit you get to know the lay of the land.
Yeah, no, I think it was actually part of this or the studio. We're based in Copenhagen, and we do have now two Danish people working at the studio, but we're actually a lot of just international people, European people. Whoa, that's a that's
Oh,
quite a place to lie and look at the stars. Um, uh,
he has the
but
best spot, mind you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But the we're all kind of not initially from Copenhagen, not initially from Denmark, or some of us are. And I think it was really nice for me, coming to a new city in a similar way that the sailor comes to this new island, and like, okay, I can look up a map on Google Maps. That's fair enough. But just cycling around the city and then coming across the
Yeah,
street and being like, oh, that connects this part of the city that I spend time in with this other part of the city that I've cycled through, and going on those
yeah.
types of adventures is actually what helped me put together a really good mental map of the place that I live. And I also just think, I mean, of course, you can do it with games just by not looking at the map, but that was one of the things that we wanted to kind of like action as a core point in this game, which is another reason why the map is actually, it feels quite large, but it is actually quite small in the grand scheme of things when you compare it to a lot of other like larger indie games or open world ones.
Yeah, I think you are right on that one, because if you are just exploring it, also the feeling, the your knowledge will be entirely different. The experience will be entirely different, just different from rushing blindly for one spot to another one, because there's where I need to go. And in this case, we will have to see everything, much like what you're talking about, just
Yeah,
walking around in a new town for the
yeah,
first time, and the
just
second and the
putting things
third.
together.
So there's another question for you on the chat. Ricardo from The Blind Observer. Do you think the reach that Animal Crossing got during the pandemic will help games in the same tone like this one?
Um, I hope so. I mean, I also enjoy games like Animal Crossing. I definitely think that I think the tone of this game does fit in some ways with Animal Crossing because it's not, hyper violent or anything like this. Obviously, none of those things
Yeah.
exist in the game or in Animal Crossing. But I definitely think players from gifs and small things that we posted, it's not quite like Animal Crossing in that way. Animal Crossing is this sort of like endless amount of content with uh, uh, very, I guess, player-driven creation elements, whereas
Yeah.
Time on Frog Island doesn't. It's not as player-driven with its creation. You can't sort of like decide to put a house wherever you want it. We did want the players to feel like they can belong on this island, so you can sort of in the late game convince the carpenter frog to help you build a house and stuff, but you don't get to decorate it and these types of things. And I actually think for our game, uh, well, I don't think it's hurt the reception at all, but there's definitely been some players who have seen the sort of like art style connection with Animal Crossing and have like then assumed that there's like a stronger connection, but it hasn't been that strong, and like that's also unfortunate for us, we want the players to understand what the game is from trailers and these types of things. So this is much more like it's almost like a point and click adventure in a weird way. Like you're not pointing and
Yeah.
clicking, but it's much closer to almost like a game like Monkey Island, say, than it is to Animal Crossing. If you were to like look at the gameplay only, um, but for sure, I think you know the the success of Animal Crossing and just generally these wholesome games and wholesome experiences, I
Yeah.
think that's definitely trended up in the last few years.
It made more people aware that there are a lot of games out there that are just happy and
Yeah,
cozy and meant for you to play and have a really nice, happy time when sometimes your day is not that good, or maybe just because that's what you love in the end. Happy games.
yeah. I also think, I mean, there's an idea of just the sort of game as a toy. Like it does have uh, a oh, it does have a goal, and there is maybe a bit of a story and so on. But in terms of, you know, it's just kind of like fun to run around, to interact with things, to learn a little bit about the game, and it's not so much about the final goal necessarily. So like these games can also be almost like toys in that way.
And our little sailor just he just informs us along the way. He just saw some rope and remember,
Hmm.
remember, we need some rope.
Yeah.
Give me your rope. I want some rope. Hmm, but I want some feathers to make some bait. And we're like, okay, let's keep journeying. And all the houses are different, all the characters are different. It's really lovely. And when frogs talk about each other,
Hmm.
we will see different images because all the frogs are different. I love that detail.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the things that was very important to Casper, who does all of our like, not all of our 3D art, but like the characters and stuff.
Thank you, Casper.
Um, yeah, like the individual silhouettes are super important to. I mean, well, just games in general, of course, like not our game only, but those individual silhouettes and like giving them that character is very very important.
Yeah, because there's a frog we meet. Oh, and there then here we go. The seesaw. First
I mean,
time I dropped this in a random place, and it took me half an hour to find it again.
yeah, yeah, that's actually one thing that we like. If you quit out of the game, like for because you saved it and you're done for the day, and you come back, then we do like reset the island. That obviously the quests are still done, and any key items will be gone, but uh, you know, the island sort of reloads in its initial state. But we always had a back and forth with design when it's like, should things be where you left them, or should things kind of like move back to where you got them, and which one is more confusing? And it was really interesting in like just speaking about it as a group, because there was always kind of back and forth on which way to go, and we decided ultimately to make it persistent, at least while you're playing through the game, unless you lose it. If you throw the saw into the water, then it will
Oh, okay.
return to where you found it, the saw in the log. Um,
He wants a mug with something chill to drink, and he even pointed where it is. Oh my.
well, the acolyte can't leave their post because they need to greet people as they come close to the church.
Oh, he's looking for his little friend. We saw his little friend on the first day near the scarecrows.
Yep, that's true.
And although when we arrive near a frog, they will tell us something, but we still need to engage in conversations with them. I want a feather. See, I mean, this is amazing. It's the frog with the blind eye. And I knew exactly who were they talking about. Oh, and now he wants us to deliver a love letter. And he tell us to whom he wants to deliver it to. This is amazing. Every frog is different, and we know right away who are we
Mhm.
talking about.
Yeah, no, that's super super nice.
Hey, little guy. Oh, and this is not the guy we are looking for because it's a little one with glasses. But
Yeah, the glasses are very specific for the one you're looking for. Yeah,
and they follow us around, barking, and it's so cute. It's adorable.
yeah. It was
There's
definitely one of the nicest things about the like development was making these little critters. Also the crabs and stuff like that. Uh, it's very fun to make those.
yeah. Well, someone's saying there's another game to the to buy list, very linked to the past.
Yeah, I mean, like, funnily enough, the main inspiration for this game was the trading quests that you see in things like Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time. Just all of these core Zelda titles. They always have this trading quest where you have to, get one thing to give it to another character, who then
Yeah,
gives you another thing and you give it to another character. And at the end, there's always this. I mean, well, in Ocarina
boomerang.
of Time, it's the big Goron sword, and A Link to the Past, I think it's the boomerang. Yeah, um, and like that was interesting to me because I was very excited to uh, essentially like scale that up. Like what does this look like? But instead of one trading chain, there's maybe a few different lines that
Yeah.
crisscross between each other. Maybe that's a little bit of a spaghetti knot that you have to untie, and that's kind of where the game came from. It's also interesting because we've had some uh, like reviews and feedback that, I mean, fetch quests are the notorious hated quests in all games, right? But our goal was to try
Hmm.
and like make that fun and interesting.
That's
And there's
debatable.
more there's more to the game, obviously, than just the fetch quests. But I think it's 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 always funny to me that they have this bad rap. But I think there's definitely ways to make them interesting.
Oh, they are going to meet. Yeah, we did a good thing on the game. We
Yeah.
promoted the here's some love.
Yes.
But yeah, that's one thing that I thought at first when I saw what I was doing in this game. I thought about the trading quests in, well, various Zelda games, and yeah, like you said, in this game it's not quite as fixed or frustrating because there are a lot of them going around at the same time, so you can just do them on your own and get everything everywhere and bring to the village and sort it out later.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's one of the interesting things about the game is, again, it also promotes that exploration. If you're ever sort of stuck, as in oh, I've got
Yeah.
three frogs, they all want something, I don't know where any of them are. Like just going in a
Oh,
different direction than you've gone before uh, is the kind of main thing that we're looking for the player to do. Ah, yeah, there you go.
yeah, we just got our first scarecrow head. While we were trying to do something else. We were trying to get the feather for the bait, and now we have one scarecrow head. And where was the farm? I think it was somewhere around here. This is the cool thing. Also, a cool thing about this game. Well, we just get to explore a lot and travel a lot. And some puzzles we have more than a way to to do them to find them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no,
here we
that's
are.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. It was also one of the things that we found kind of uh, interesting. We didn't actually get to put in as many as we liked, but we kind of wanted alternative solutions to many of the puzzles, and many of them do have some alternative solutions. But we kind of wanted to add more and have this interesting thing where our main goal was kind of to have players be like, "Oh, I wonder if this will work as a scarecrow head or as this or as that," and then you try it and the game should give you feedback on if it's yes or no, but
Yeah.
uh, it sort of tells you, um, and you can use different things than scarecrow heads, just like people do in real life, I guess.
Oh,
Oh,
and
it
the
might be
lady is
it
not
might be
here
nighttime. Yeah.
anymore. Yeah, this one cute thing the game does when it's nighttime. Well, it's nighttime, so we just need to get another thing, something. Let's get it here for later. So it's almost nighttime. We can go explore some more, or
Yeah.
just go to sleep and try to meet the lady in the morning again. And there's another question for you in the chat. How
Oh,
long
nice.
is the main story of this game? Is there a lot of content past the main story? Two questions.
Yeah, I think so. So it's an interesting question because it is a puzzle game. So in some ways, it's how the puzzle sort of interacts with you, and how um like how quickly you sort of move through those, or if you get stuck, as long as you don't get frustrated and quit, right? But if you're if you're interested, and you play, and you sort of hit these moments of eureka and things as we planned them out, then we expect around uh, 5 or 6 hours of like gameplay, um,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what we've seen a little bit, based on like what we see on playtime on Steam and stuff. But there's definitely been, I don't want to say outliers, but like you can complete the game quickly. When we were playing it in development, and uh, some of our friends have speedran the
Yeah.
game to see what they can do, and of course then you know all the solutions and all this type of stuff. But you can chew through the game super quickly. Maybe even in the like sub hour, sub 40 minutes. But that's when you know all the solutions, and you just sort of like run from one place to the other. But yeah, I think right now it's very much in the sort of 5 to 6 hour mark, but that is kind of like playing all the puzzles, and maybe doing
Yeah.
some optional stuff, just taking things as you see them. Um, if you go for 100% completion, then it can be a bit longer, maybe 7. Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
that's a lot.
yeah,
So,
but again, that factors in this idea of like the thinking, the exploring, the putting things together. Um,
yeah, that's nice. That's a lot of gameplay, but I think, well, at least our first playthrough, it will be a bit more because, well, we just enjoy exploring, right? And we will try to break everything in the game and jump
yeah,
everywhere
yeah. No, I
and
think that
get
was like
stuck.
I've definitely seen, because on Steam also, like with reviewers and stuff, you see how many hours they've played, and I've actually been a little bit surprised. There's been a couple of people who've reviewed the game, and they have like 60, 70 hours played, and that's amazing. I'm glad that they are, like I assume, playing the game multiple times. Um, that's fantastic, because it always makes us happy to kind of see people like just interact with the game, and love it in the way that we do.
Yeah, this is a what? Oh, I just knocked the lamp.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's time to go to sleep. And I don't know if everyone noticed, but to actually go to sleep, we already have our little friend, the shrubbery,
Hmm.
and our mat. And every night we need to gather 3 pieces of wood to, to actually make our campfire.
Yeah.
And that's what we are going to do right now. But as you can see, we can just spend a lot of time moving around and going around, and I like the little guy. He's pretty charismatic.
Yeah. No, we had um, also some questions in testing with the campfire, where when it was raining, people are like, "Oh, but how will I set the campfire when it's raining?" Um, but it just does. It just works. Special fire, I
It
guess.
does. And at least up until now, I never had any difficulty understanding
Mhm.
what the game wanted me to do. Finding stuff, it's a different question, but actually knowing what the game wanted for me, oh, and it's raining again. This is really relaxing.
Mhm.
And well, it's time to meet the lady.
Yeah, we've actually, I mean, when we set out to make the game, as I said, we were kind of inspired by, of course, like some of the old school Zelda games and trading games like this, but also just generally some early. Nintendo and PlayStation games where
Yeah.
you are just sort of like set loose in this world, and you do a lot of figuring things out yourself. And a lot of the game sort of came together, and we expected to almost have this nostalgia factor with older players like us, our age. But actually, the thing that we've noticed, we've had a lot of friends tell us that their kids just love the game, which
Yeah.
which surprised us a little bit because games have
Oh.
changed so much since like those days, and the fact that kids are sort of like enjoying it and playing it in a super engaging way. I think that might be because they are just interested in running around and picking things up. And that is exactly what we want for
Yeah.
players to do, where they run around, they explore, they see something, and then they just have that eureka moment,
And
and they remember,
what
and oh,
you
this
were
frog does
talking
this.
about kids wanting to play this game,
Hmm.
that's actually pretty happy because nowadays everything is just so quickly rushed, frenetic, and lots of things happening at the same time. And here they can go around at their own pace, doing what the hell they want. And that's a nice change of pacing, I think.
Hmm.
I would be very happy with my game if I was able to do that, to achieve that with kids. Really. So congratulations on that. That's really good news.
Yeah, no, I mean it wasn't. I mean it wasn't something that we had ruled out, but it wasn't necessarily something we were expecting. I mean, we wanted the game to be appropriate for kids, but not necessarily hardcore targeted to kids. But I think if anything, that's worked out even better because it doesn't sort of like baby you. So
She wants to trade her feather for a plant. Okay, I'm going to get that. And we were talking about inspirations for this game. There's another question on the chat called saying it reminds me also of a great game I played called A Short Hike. Was that game also an inspiration? I
yeah,
don't know what this game is, so.
yes, a short hike was a huge inspiration. We're all
Oh,
also really in love with a short hike. That's a fantastic game. If you haven't played it, it's very worth playing. And
I'm
actually,
going to write it down.
the terrain that you're running around on, uh, the the shader for that terrain is called a short blend in our like game files, and it's because we based it on our short hikes, so the way they made the terrain and their shader. It's a really cool game
I
that's
see.
very well, our game is similar to theirs. It's sort of like based on this very localized island, and there's just these small stories that you can kind of like interact with, and you can speak to different characters. They have full dialogue and also some very interesting sort of like mini game systems, and they have like small fishing areas and stuff like that. There's a lot of content in a short hike. It's super nice.
This guy wasn't here yesterday. He
Nope,
moves
the
around.
the cartographer is a bit of a nomad. They're very interested in just seeing what's around the island. A lot like the sailor, even.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, every time we play, we discover new things because I've played this game for a couple hours and I haven't thought that out yet. Oh, this is so cute.
Yeah, you can meet the cartographer on a few different spaces around the island, and we kind of wanted to treat the cartographer a little bit like, I mean, tutorial is not the right way to say it, but like, you speak to the cartographer, and they'll mention something about the island, about objects being breakable, or there's this weird
Oh,
gate or something like that, and that sort of like triggers the player to try things out and try things new.
I saw a gate, actually.
Oh,
I don't recall where it was, but oh, someone is saying on the chat, so he's making the map that we don't have.
yes, yeah, that's why
Clever,
there is no
clever.
map. Actually, that was something that we wanted to add, but we actually thought it would annoy players. Is that if you do all the cartographer's quests, that they would give you a map, but it was like really small, like it was just an item, and you could hold it up above your head and squint at the screen. But we thought that
Oh,
would be more annoying than anything else. So we decided to
that would
stick
be
with the no
cool.
map, and not even sort of have one painted on the ground.
Well, it could be a second sail
Yeah.
for the boat as well. So,
Oh, that's true. That's true. You could put it up as a sail on the boat.
okay, this is not where my town is. Let's
Yeah,
go
no.
to town because we want to make the lady happy. And by now we already have the sail. We fixed the boat with some planks, and we still need the rope, and
Hmm.
we still need the steering wheel. So
Yes.
a lot of stuff to do still. And
Yeah.
this lady, I haven't managed to give her anything yet.
Yeah, the diva
Okay,
is hard to please. I think that was one of the things we stretched our puzzle sort of like legs. It's not even so much puzzle, it's more yeah, I don't want to spoil it. It's a difficult kind of
yeah.
thing to figure out, but I think we pushed a little bit too hard with the diva's little side quest. Um,
Well, she's a diva. She has the right to demand whatever she wants, so it works for me.
yeah, the
And
hard to please thing was definitely the the sort of like story point we were going for.
yeah, it adds replayability to the game as well, so it's cool. Those little details that you have going around. Oh, I just love the landscape on this game, and I haven't even gone to the entire island. So
Yeah, actually, that was one thing I was like, there's maybe half, maybe a little bit less of the island that you've seen so far. Yeah, no, half's probably fair. There's like a smaller island to the left-hand side, which you
to the
can sort of
left.
unlock later. Yeah, and
Ah, later on. Okay.
yeah, and there's also a space in the north that you haven't explored yet. But
Oh,
there's a lot of
oh,
oh
no,
uh,
ah.
but yeah, we
Eh,
tried to make the island big enough to get lost in, but small enough that it's you can kind of uh, go in one direction for long enough, and you'll probably find something that that you've seen before. And
hmm.
actually, that's probably a lot like Copenhagen as a city. It's small enough to get lost in, but if you cycle for long enough in
Never
one
been
direction,
there.
you'll probably come across a street you've been in before.
That's a cool way of putting it. So you do live in Copenhagen right now
Yeah, yeah.
with your team.
So
That's really cool. Oh, oh, and we see a lot of crabs. They are so cute, and I love the details in this game. We haven't been that lucky with the weather. It has been raining twice already, but it adds to the relaxing mood, you know. So
mhm. Yeah, no, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It sounds like, or we're getting close to the finishing up hour, but I'm really excited
yeah,
that you liked the game and some really nice questions as well.
unfortunately, I would like to keep playing some more, but we need to move along. And well, I would just like to ask you if you have anything else you would like to say about this game, about your team, and well, what do you love the most about this game? I think that's a cool question I would like to ask you. What do you
Uh,
love the most?
yeah, I think the thing I love the most is maybe some of the things that make the game a bit more niche, which is this idea of it kind of not like you sort of get out what you put in, and if you get a little bit lost but you're willing to just kind of like explore in a different direction and not get sort of too hung up on doing things as they come up,
Yeah,
then I think you can have a lot of fun with the game. One of the PC Gamer articles we had as a review, I think summed up the game really well. Like it was just the I think it was a preview and it was like uh, it was like blue cheese. You're either gonna sort of like love it or hate it kind of idea, right? Because you either gel very much with the idea, or maybe it kind of rubs you the wrong way because games have kind of been developed in another way for so long.
yeah, probably, but it's good to have
Yeah,
different things
of
going
course.
around, so everyone can have their fun and their happiness. I think this game is a very, very happy one.
No, thank
Fun,
you very
but
much.
also a very happy one, and I'm really glad I got to know it. And well, everyone, this game is already out on computer and on several consoles, so try it out. There's even the prologue for free. It's not this island, it's another one, and I really hope we get new islands
Yeah.
later on down the map. It would be. I want a penguin one, by the way.
Oh, penguins.
I
Okay, that's
love
interesting.
penguins.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, and thank you for
Thank you for
hosting.
this lovely game. I wish you the best, and well, let's hope everyone gets to try time on Frog Island.
No, thanks very much. Bye.
Bye bye.